They wanted somebody with league experience, somebody who knew what it was to lift trophies, somebody who, let's be honest, would be able to provide some competition to Iker, but who wouldn't maybe mind sitting a little bit in the dugout, which is what Jersey's done for the last couple of years at Liverpool.
And you can see these are exclusive pictures of the contract signing. You only see them here on Real Madrid TV as we broadcast you live all around the world. Gabriel Heinze, of course, there with Real Madrid's president Ramon Calderon doing the important bit of business of putting pen to paper on this contract, which will see Heinze here for the next 4 years.
Yeah, he's only 29 years old, Heinze, and these days, defenders are still at their peak, aged 33, so it's a good signing. It's a very quick move by Real Madrid, and I have to say by Manchester United, because one of the big stories of the summer was whether or not Heinze would end up moving to Liverpool, but his attempts to move there were ended very quickly. United obviously thought, well, we've got to sell him. Madrid saw the opportunity and got in very quickly.
Ramon Calderon just explaining there, as with every new signing, you get this pen and you are there to remember this day, which of course is a very special day for any footballer coming and putting pen to paper to join Real Madrid.
Especially the Real Madrid pen, Dan, obviously, yeah. It's a massive day for someone like Heinze, who, as you say, when he first joined, came to Spain, played for Valladolid, a team who habitually struggle,
So Ian Robben there, the next man to sign the contract. We were speaking to Robben earlier in the day, and he was just saying how happy he is to be here. He knows that it seemed to have taken a long time, but he's very committed. He feels that he will be fit and be able to play an integral part in this Real Madrid side, who, of course, go into this league campaign as defending champions.
Well, exactly. And the good thing is that the president and Aaron Robben are able to converse in English, and there are some of those trophies. Yes, it's a big thing, isn't it, to start off the season as defending champions. It means for me, I think it takes some of the pressure off, because if you go in and you haven't won anything, especially being a club like Real Madrid.
How many times on Extra Time were we talking about the 3-year drought, the longest time for 50 years that Real Madrid haven't won anything?
Well, indeed. I mean, that's the big factor. A club like Real Madrid cannot afford to not win trophies, and I think if they hadn't won the league last year, we would have been looking at the pressure for this season would have been unbelievable. As it is, there's still a lot of pressure because it's Real Madrid, and you look at the guides, the 2 guides that have been published by the Spanish sporting papers, Marca and Diario AS, and they always sort of qualify what would be a good season for a club and what would be a failure. And for both Madrid and Barcelona, failure is not winning the league. So one of the 2 teams this season is doomed to fail already. Madrid, however,
to be here in the Spanish capital and wearing the Real Madrid shirt, and he's presented it via Alfredo Di Stefano, of course, the honorary president of the club. When you hear his CV from Ramon Calderon, you can see what a fantastic signing he is.
Well, exactly. He's just, I think, solid is the word. I think the very fact that he says, I'm not a man who speaks a lot, is probably a good thing for defenders. You don't want your defenders to be chatterboxes. You want them to be quiet and serious. And he's just done a serious job for every club he's been with. Say playing at Newell's Old Boys from Santa Fe province in Argentina, one of the teams that's well known for having an excellent youth system, the team known as the Lepers, because they once played a benefit match for a leper colony at the start of the 20th century. The very fact that he only made less than 10 appearances for Newell's before Valladolid picked him up just shows how convincing he was right at an early age. And at Valladolid, I say, they developed him further, letting him play in Portugal, which is maybe not quite such a tough league. Then he came back to Spain, and that Valladolid team, we think of them as perennial strugglers in the second division. That Valladolid team actually did quite well.
Well, Heinze, of course, given the shirt without a number, you would suspect maybe he would take Cecinho's number 11 after the Brazilian has now gone to Roma, or maybe that will go to Robben.
Well, it's all got to be decided, hasn't it? I mean, there's nothing official been
waiting for all summer has arrived, and listen to the reception he receives as Alfredo Di Stefano and Ramon Calderon present him with his new Real Madrid shirts.
I tell you what, I remember David Beckham and Michael Owen when they were presented. I think they both came out with HALA Madrid as well, but nothing quite as impressive as that opening speech from the young Dutchman.
Well, he certainly didn't have to win over the fans, but that certainly helped, doesn't it?
Crikey. I mean, I don't want to sound unfair on Heinze, because I think Heinze is a great signing, but Robben is the player that everyone had come here to see today. It's the one that everyone's been waiting for. It's been going on, the story, all summer. And there is the feeling that he is the player that will give that extra width.
Ramon Calderon there mentioned more than once that he is the best left winger in the world. Do you agree?
He's certainly up there, isn't he? I mean, this is one of those things. There aren't many brilliant left wingers around. You look at Argentina. In fact, it's the 4th league he's played in Spain. And
the fact that he's played in La Liga before, as you mentioned, with Valladolid, that certainly gives him an advantage, doesn't it?
Well, without doubt, because you know what to expect. Although I think playing as a defender at Valladolid is rather different than playing as a defender for Real Madrid. You tend to get maybe a left back for Real Madrid is expected to get forward a little bit more, whereas at Valladolid, if you do your defensive duties, people are going to be happy with you. But I remember him at Valladolid. I remember him playing more in central defence there, and he's not massively tall, is he? He's only 1.78 meters in height, so he's not the tallest defender around, but he was able to fit in perfectly in the middle of the back four.
And internationally, of course, he's got credentials. Ramon Calderon mentioned there, he won a gold medal in Athens. And of course, has got numerous caps for Argentina.
I think the Athens gold medal is pretty significant because obviously you're only allowed, is it 2 squad members who are over 23 in your Olympic squads? So he was an overage player. He was one of the overage players that they wanted to take along because of his experience and I would say his leadership qualities. Because if you have a lot of young people, a lot of young players, they need somebody who's experienced and able to lead from the front, or in his case, probably from the back.
And you can see them. There must be about over 4,000 fans, I'd say, that are here today. It's certainly the biggest turnout of all the signings, which shows the excitement that the Real Madrid fans have about the 2 new additions to the squad. You see Heinze there just kicking the ball.
It certainly gives that extra bit of spice, doesn't it? These things always work out expensive for the clubs, don't they? Because all the fans want a few balls kicked towards them. And the great thing about Heinze is that he'll give some variety to the Real Madrid defence. As we were saying, he can play left back, central defence. He is mainly left-footed, but you can see him perfectly slotting in alongside Pepe or Metzelder or Cannavaro. And it just gives more options. And I think for a coach, that's what you want.
And a bit of pub trivia. I'm not sure how much he'll be using it here in Madrid, but Gerrit Heinze actually speaks Welsh.
From that part of Argentina where how green is my...
The tricks here.
I think it's better if you do a... Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I thought I didn't have a ball there.
Heinze kicked them all into the crowd. But just a glimpse there of what Iron Robin can produce.
I remember a couple of years ago, Atletico Madrid, obviously Saturday's rivals, signed an Argentinian, a Uruguayan called Pato Sosa. And he was doing his keepy-uppy tricks to about 30 or 40 people in the ground, and he fell over. Which basically summed up his career at Atletico Madrid, to be honest. But I don't think there's any danger of Aaron doing that.
And there it goes into the crowd. Prize memento from the day. The fact you can buy the balls from the Real Madrid shop just down the road, it's not quite the same though, is it?
Oh, it's free. You see, it's good because it's free, Dan. I think it costs, I don't know how much they cost in this shop, about 20, 25 euros. You probably will buy the Robin shirt in the shop, I would have thought, in a very short period of time as well.
And again, we were talking about numbers. Maybe it will be he who gets Cicinho's number 11.
It's a good possibility, isn't it, I would have thought. I think wingers should have 7 and 11 personally, but obviously no one's going to get number 7. It's personal prejudice of mine. Obviously no one's going to get the number 7 off Raul. But number 11 is always a good number for a winger.
There's always quite a scramble as well, isn't there, when the balls go into the crowd. Well, that's Robin's presentation. He will now pose with Heinze for some pictures together, I imagine.
But look at that, we're saying Heinze, you know, as a complaint central defence, but he's really hardly any taller than Robbena, and we always think of Robbena as being a slight, small, Quicksilver sort of player.
If you look at the Real Madrid squad, it is quite small now. When you look at that height and you look at the signings that have come in, Schneider, Saviola, Dorente, they don't offer much height, but what they do offer is some fantastic skill. And indeed, what Schuster was promising wasn't this attacking, thrilling football that the Bernabeu expects.
I think it's something that we haven't really seen it yet in pre-season, have we? But it's one of those things that will hopefully, now that the final pieces of the jigsaw click together. And President Calderon did seem to confirm